Welcome back, everyone. Good afternoon, finally, as somebody forgot to press the reset live page. There you go.
Wait.
I can make that joke because I've done it before, too. But welcome back to the round two, or the second match of today's week 2 of Round Robin. There's no such thing as a round type of situation in this case. Risky Behavior up against Team Neil M. I'm going to see a Nox to be the first ban from Risky Behavior. This is very much a targeted ban against their opponents here, and then also Neil, I'm banning out Hell because, well, Hell is incredibly strong right now.
Yeah. Hell, but we're still on the tail end. Well, I wouldn't say tail end. We're in sort of the high noon / afternoon period of the healer meta, and we're still seeing, the Hells and the Aphrodites and the, we saw Guan Yu. That kind of healing as well does help significantly. Capri is going to get banned out by Risky Behaviors their second. Saket being eliminated by Neil M, and looks like no one wants to deal with Saket today right now. Zeus will be the first pickup for Risky Behavior with the rework. He has been very strong recently. But speaking of new gods, question for you and the audience. Is Sol available today?
Sol is available, and the question is, does anyone feel comfortable playing her? Sol has some very interesting things. Excuse me. As production points out that it is not actually quite high noon anymore. We're close to it, but you're off by about 10 minutes. But with that said, Sol suffers from a lot of things that Zeus does in some regards, in terms of it can be possible to focus and shut them down. Zeus on Risky Behavior here. Hunbots and Athena. Neil M picking Geb, Jing Chen, and Isis. Isis, early game pressure. Not actually Isis, apparently, according to production. Thank you for the misclick. Again, I understand the mess up. I will, Giannis, okay. I like that for the mid to late game pressure. Early game, though, he may lose out to Zeus a little bit. But what Neil M needs to do is they need to be hyper-aggressive against Zeus early, and they need to shut down Risky Behavior's mid lane hard. Because if you can keep Zeus behind, he's toast.
Yeah, that is true, especially considering that, towards the early game, well, actually, I wouldn't even say early game. If he can get through the early game fine, he does ridiculous amounts of damage towards the mid because of the shield bounces, almost shocking amounts. But if you could shut him down early, like you said, it gets very... It's almost like the Ares situation we saw last game. If you can stop him early, that entire momentum goes down the toilet. And speaking of the lady herself, Sol is going to be banned by Neil M. And Thor is going to be taken off the table by Risky. That's going to be the top jungle, top support right now, one of the top supports right now, and a targeted ban. Risky has done their homework.
Yep, well, again, excuse me, Neil M, a very, very strong mid laner right now. I believe it's Jiminy? I believe Jiminy clicks their mid laner, as Jaco had gone to solo. But again, Jaco Malfoy could go back to mid, very, very strong as well. Hou-Yi, however, does get picked up, and Panda Cat's Hou-Yi is somewhere between disturbing and downright disgusting. Very, very, very good Hou-Yi player. But then again, 2 or 3, I forget which week it was, right after the Hou-Yi buff, every game we cast Hou-Yi in, he lost miserably. So, Hou-Yi does have the occasional curse upon him. So,
that happened during last week as well. I remember that very specifically.
I wasn't there casting that one, so...
Yeah, during that same curse happened last week, apart from one game where the Hou-Yi was in there and he won. The rest of the one, it happened. Like, maybe there's some sort of, maybe, it wouldn't even say commentator's curse. Maybe it is literally just Hou-Yi is a cursed god right now.
I think more specifically, it's the curse of a character that's banned all the time. People know how to play him mostly, but they don't have him mastered because he gets banned all the time in scrims and he gets banned all the time in tournaments. And so when he gets through, it's like, oh yeah, play Hou-Yi. Then it's like, oh wait, how do I play Hou-Yi? And you run into problems. Apollo and Sobek going to be the last picks here, meaning it's a solo Beck most likely, and that's good stuff.
Or are we going to see some shenanigans here? Athena jungle, Humbat's mid.
Humbat's
solo.
I've seen it.
That has happened.
Bastet for the jungle. I like it somewhat. I'm Bastet has some problems. She's strong, but she's a damaging ganker that has absolutely no CC, and her cats, when you get into the late game, do absolutely nothing other than some body blocking and a little bit of tanking.
I was going to say, I'm going to call shenanigans on that statement, sir. Cat body blocks are evil early game. I
understand you hate cats.
No, I love cats. I have 4 of them. Bugger off. No, but I'm not sure if I'm slightly biased here, because this always seems to happen to me when I play just regular games of whatever mode. But the cats always seem to get that body block of that perfect triangle every time. And that can hurt. Or even they don't even need the triangle. If they're against the wall, they don't even need that full 360 coverage to body block you in.
Fair enough, but that's with our last pick there. I guess the key thing is we'll just have to see how things go through. So we're going to have to wait and see how the gameplay plays out here. Risky Behavior up against Team Neil M. This is Smite North America Challenger Cup Fall Split. Week number 7, week 2 of the round robin, last week before the finals. We will be back in a few minutes, about 2.5. So don't go anywhere. Once again, brought to you by hi-rez Studios and TierMonster.com. My name is M Target, joined today by Verbalocity. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We are now into the action once again. Risky Behavior in blue, Team Neil M in red. Risky Behavior, bottom side of your minimap, fighting for the Titan of Order, Famous Hate, rocking those fireworks. Going to be your Hunter Apollo, supported by Wubbin, Athena, Xenotronics in your mid lane as Zeus, Skilodon, your jungle Hunbots, and Crazy Toaster, your crazy solo Beck.
So, we were discussing this before, but you wanted to bring this up. So, we see Xenotronics on Risky Behavior. As you informed me, his Zeus is very, very good. But at the same time, I think that with the comp that you see that Neil M have drafted, we see the Bastet, we've got the Janus. I think that mid lane is going to get focused very, very hard.
It is going to... Oh, that is a nice little skin right there from Xenotronics' shield. It will get focused very heavily, however, Xenotronics, I cast him in a community tournament, and I think it was up against K-Spot or then Spitfire, now Resist, another top challengers team, and he went 15-2 on Zeus against a team that tried very hard to focus him. So Xenotronics...
Pre or post change?
Post change.
Post change.
So this current Zeus, very, very strong at. I'm sorry, not this current Zeus, last patch Zeus, but still not like old
Not
Zeus.
like the old Aegis shield.
Not the Aegis shield, not certainly not the ancient Zeus that's stunned. But I digress. So again, very strong. Xenotronics is very good at it. Skilodon also works very well with Xenotronics. Risky Behavior has a very, very strong team composition just from how much they've played together. Maybe not even necessarily at the same time, but these guys have been playing in the same tournaments for a very long time. Over on Red Team, Panda Cat, Nerima, Jiminy Glick, Grishank, and Jacob Malfoy. So this is a solo lane. Jing Chen, support. Geb, Nerima playing support. Jacob Malfoy, SPL for, a split on Thirst. Nerima played for about half of that split. Jacob was a mid laner, now he's a solo laner, and Nerima supported for a short time as well. So, again, Red Team, also Panda Cat, excuse me, has subbed in at the professional level before as well. I believe he's subbed for Enemy once or twice. So, just enough that he has subbed, but not enough that he is, no longer allowed to play in Challengers Cup, as he has not hit that 4-match limit.
No roster locking.
No roster locking. Just played a couple games, and he's certainly good enough to do it. Very, very stacked rosters, both of these teams, and I expect this to be a very, very good game. And I expect shenanigans from both of them. Grishank, his best stat, while good, again, I have some doubts about the character itself. He is more than willing to do a 3-minute Gold Fury. He will hit level 5, rotate over to it, get a couple players over there, and actually we're going to see an ultimate being forced out there. by Jiminy Glick, as we did just see a little bit of aggression from Skeleton, and Skeleton had level 5, and they did not want to risk that.
I can understand why he did that. I don't think that Skeleton would have gone for the Fear No Evil there if he didn't
probably not.
that. I mean, that would have been very hard to secure that kill, because Xenotronics, he had just used the shield, so it's gonna suck that he doesn't have the Team Choo-Choo train up for another minute or so, which they could use right now, as they're gonna be rotating over to try and take out the solo mech piloted by Crazy Toaster. It looks like Crazy Toaster is not gonna see this. He burns the charge, and
fine,
here comes the kiddies. Yeah, he is
Oh,
gonna
no, he's
get
not fine.
shredded
He's not.
down.
Oh.
There's
If Crazy
the
Toaster
kiddies.
had gone into his ultimate, just boom, because lurking in the waters, you have extra damage mitigation, and you don't take collision. Meaning that he could have just gone right into his tower, had no problems, and been perfectly fine. Wubbin, Skeleton, and Xenotronics, however, are going to take this time to rotate over to the dual lane, and will be stealing away, or dropping, excuse me, this purple buff. And it is still technically a steal, they just didn't claim it for themselves just yet. That will be Famous Hate doing the act of stealing the buff itself. They simply stole the camp. So we will see Skeely, Wubbin, and Xeno taking away the left side camp, no problem. Would not be surprised if they went for the right side as well, but they're going to go for pushing the wave instead.
So, left side mid camp's taken by Risky, right side are going to be taken by NeilM. NeilM do have the first blood advantage. Go to the graphs here. XP, basically even, only a very slight lead for NeilM. Gold is a little bit higher, but still it's only 600, it's basically nothing. Once again, similar theme as to last game we saw, but with different teams, the Hun Bats getting extremely aggressive on Chaos side red buff.
And you, again, you should be in this case, because NeilM, you just saw Yanis back, you know that Bastet is babysitting solo lane right now, because Draco Malfoy doing alright now that he's had some support, and they even actually stole away the blue buff of Crazy Toaster, but we're actually going to see Wubbin get very aggressive onto Grishank here, and there's a beautiful Whirlwind of Blade and Steel onto 2 though, and Jacob Malfoy looking for a little bit more. Good Cataclysm as well, and that will slow things down. Crazy Toaster in a lot of trouble. There's a Hunbot's ultimate, going to do some damage back up. There's Xenotronics coming in with his ultimate as well, and that is a huge thunderstorm right there. Jacob Malfoy is going to fall, and maybe not. Nope, there's the detonate. He's almost dead. There's the throw as well, not quite enough. Jiminy Glick in a bit of trouble. He will be able to disengage, and that is a lot of damage for no one to die.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that no one died there. Probably moreover to the fact that there's a lot of healing on both sides early on, and even with the Whirlwind of Rage and Steel, Jaco wasn't able to get both the targets he was looking for. Their left side, though, a little bit of a hunter showdown. Nothing really too dramatic going to happen. Early on, if both people are going to fight each other at full health, Famous Hate would have the advantage as long as he has passive, but the longer the fight goes on, the more the scales tip towards Ho Yi, purely because of the Crow. And of course, late game, no one can outduel the Ho Yi when he's got max rank Crow. That's just impossible, the amount of stuff you get on that ability. Nice Blink Taunt, though. It's going to be not enough to kill him, but certainly enough poke to give him some concern, but the rest of NeilM are going to be posturing up for some potential shenanigans here, or just going for the backcaps. That works too.
Yeah, no, just going back camps, and the big thing for that Blink taunt, etc., is that it forced beads on Panda Cat, and Panda Cat was taken down about half health. He was forced to use a healing potion there. So Panda Cat again in an awkward position. We're going to see a bit of boxing here. Going to see him pop the ultimate early. He is going to get the stun up onto Famous Hate. Famous Hate will be able to slide away, but he's going to get knocked up, and that's going to be a kill for Panda Cat. Ooh. It's going to be 2-0 now in favor of NeilM, but we are going to see a good Fear No Evil there onto Panda Cat. Good Blink as well, and there's the overhand smash. That's going to be a revenge kill there by Skeleton onto that Cat of Pandas. Of course, now all I can see is a little red panda whenever I see Panda Cat. But anyways,
I just keep thinking of trash pandas, raccoons. I don't know why. I've been seeing a lot of raccoons recently on Twitter. No, anytime I hear panda, I just think trash panda. But I digress.
Anyways, we will see Xenotronics here is going to be collapsed upon by 4. Athena ultimate started up. Xenotronics is going to beads drop his ultimate as well. He's going to get caught by the Whirlwind of Blade and Steel, and he's going to go down to Grishank. Apollo coming in as well. Wubbin gets a beautiful 3-man taunt into a good preemptive strike as well. Grishank is going to walk away from Famous Hate, and Famous Hate says, "Don't you walk away from me," except he's chasing 4 right now, and he is behind in levels again. NeilM feeling okay after that one.
Yeah, they're going to be able to take a nice little advantage there. Panda Can's going to be able to grab his camp as well. I would think we saw a little bit of Anticinas coming out of Famous. He wanted to go for something. He got tagged by the Unstable Vortex for it, but that shows that, hey, we just want to get something back. Nuramar, though, is going to get picked, literally, by the Sobek, and that's going to be the second kill on the board for Risky Behavior. A nice kill to have, because it stops any kind of counter attempt at a Gold Fury. Because, of course, you know, at Ho-Yi and again, they can at least try and hold the attention of the Gold Fury, but Risky Behavior opting to actually back off instead.
Indeed. The Risky Behavior, I think it's a good call. People are starting to get low. There's a lot of farm around the map. That's the thing to remember, is that with the scaling of the Gold Fury, is earlier in the game, you are more and more often looking at the question of what can we get elsewhere that's worth more? Whether it be, you know, farm, whether it be gank, whether it be kills, whether it be just sustained presence. And, you know, the Gold Fury will just sit there. She'll be there in 5 minutes. You know, but that minion wave that's wasting away in the solo lane is going to be gone. There's free farm that often we'll see at lower levels of challengers, particularly. Solo laners will forget about their farm in the solo lane. They'll just let it go because they're trying to gank, and then they lose 5 or 6 waves.
Mid lane, though, multiple ultimates going to be deployed. Jiminy Gillick gets put through the portal, but so does the Bastet Cats. They weren't able to actually give him a hand because the target went through the portal, in this case Skilden, the Cats were summoned upon. And unfortunately, because of that ever so slight blunder, no kill on Skilden's going to be made there because he'd already burned his jump. That sucks, and that I wouldn't say it's miscommunication, just raw input timings, but looks like Rishank getting very aggressive onto Xenotronics, but I'm actually going to rescind what I said earlier. I'll rescind the point to you here. That earlier pressure that they could have used on Xenotronics as a Zeus from a Bastet hasn't seemed to have materialized that effectively.
Again, that's Xenotronics, has received a lot of support from his team. He is currently sitting at 0-1-0, so he has not taken off just yet. Again, the game that I was referencing before, he went like 15-2. But there's still plenty of time for Zeus to just kind of go crazy.
Gold Fury is going to be attempt, or at least looked at by Risky Behavior. They're going to be kiting around. They unleash it, and right now both of these teams are fighting each other around this Gold Fury. More pressure, yes, but there's also both of these teams just really want this early gold advantage. They are just begging for it, although it looks like Grishank looking for Xenotronics here. He's just going to bleed out slightly onto his robes, which sucks. You know, it's a pretty new SWC skin. You don't want to get those robes bloody. It was a premium.
This way.
Excuse me, we are going to see a rotation over from Draco Malfoy. Actually, no, he was trying to, but his teleport was thwarted as Skeledon to just kill the ward. Beautiful
Nice
three-man
launch.
taunt there. Good Fear No Evil as well onto all 3 of them. But there's the Cataclysm, and those Cats are chewing up Skeledon. Skeledon able to leap away as Wubbin did pull the aggro. Grishank does leap away. Famous Hate going to finish him on the backside. There's a Thunderstorm coming down as well. And we will see a Whirlwind onto 1. Wubbin will be okay for falling here. And we will see Crazy Toaster now in the fight trying to find something. And we will see a bit of a disengage at this juncture.
Nope.
Crazy Toaster going to pull Jacob Malfoy there.
Yep, Crazy Toaster tries to pick up the kill there, but unfortunately, Jingxian does have that part of the Furious War where he reduces basic attack damage, so Famous Hate wasn't to get enough damage as he wanted, especially with the fact he's building Silver Breastplate and Mark of the Vanguard. Apollo was basically just slapping him at that point because of that combo.
Well,
That's
the attack
a-
speed of Apollo, he slaps a lot.
True, it's death by 1,000 slaps, but instead of 1,000 cuts, because of all that damage reduction, it's death by 1,000 slaps, and that's what you don't want as Apollo.
Right.
Or a hunter, generally.
I mean, Apollo's starting to do good damage, and he'll continue to climb, so it's certainly not too much of a problem. So we will see what happens here as rotations do come out onto the mid lane. Brief, because we've touched on builds all. Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Gonna blink him with the Cataclysm beads forced out, and they're gone.
Wubbin.
For now.
Nope, looks like nothing else is going to find there. We did see the shield come out. That Geb shield has been crucial in this match so far for stuffing any kind of taunt attempts. Less so, we haven't seen any of those really fancy, game fight-changing...
Wubbin's dead.
Sorry, oh, never mind, Wubbin's dead. I was about to mention Crazy Toaster with his Sopek. The flings can actually be shielded out, but we'll talk about that aspect in a second, because Neil M is successfully going to pick up left side, but then over the right side, the Sopek is going to be going after the Jigshed with backup. And Draco Malfoy goes for the whirlwind of Rage and Steel. Steels are taking a lot of damage. He does have his team to back him up, but he's going to be where he doesn't get clipped by the Furious Roar, but it won't connect. The rest of Neil M are going to be going for the Gold Fury. They will get it. Unfortunately, Risky Behavior were a little bit too distracted by Jacob Malfoy to realize that. Famous Hate, though, is going to pick up a Grishank. They're going to try and get some redemption off of this, and they'll pick up a second kill. Shazam! The Lightning Damage is going to take out Nuramar. I would say that's an okay trade, although Neil M are still in the lead in terms of Golden XP by. Just look at that dip in the Golden XP graphs after that. That is steep.
It's fairly steep. I mean, it puts it very much in favor of Neil M, though that after that second portion of the fight is pretty bad. Wubbin going in deep for Jiminy Glick, gonna see the pluck miss, and Jiminy Glick trying to run away, but he does die to Xenotronics detonation there, and now Jacob Malfoy in a bit of trouble, forced to back off as well as the mid lane tower doth fall. First tower of the game at 1342, going over to
Risky Behavior.
Indeed.
So, we do see the Breastplate of Valor coming out. I actually wanted to ask you this. I'm not too well versed in the solo lane. I know you're a bit more versed than I am. Why go Breastplate over Mystical Bale in this situation? Or even a Stone of Gaia?
The thing here is that he's going up against a non-physical character, so I find it interesting. If you're a mage, guardian, etc., Crazy Toaster in some trouble here.
Yep, there's the cat body block. There's the body blocks. He almost gets out, but in comes the Yanosol, but is not going to hit. In comes the hook and slam, doing its namesake, hooking and slamming Crazy Toaster into the dirt. That's going to be a nice pickup there for Neil M. And now Risky Behavior are on a little bit of a back foot here because they got to choose. Do they try and stop Neil M from just going around picking up camps and warding, or do they try and stop the solo lane push?
I think Skeleton stopping the solo lane push is a good call here. We are going to see a 3-man rotation over to the dual lane. Famous Hate will fall before the rotation even gets there. However, not a whole lot of minion wave here to push the tower, and because of this, there's not a whole lot for them to take, which is all the more reason to try and defend that solo lane. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to go briefly back over to your question about the Breastplate of Valor. If you're looking up against a lot of physical damage, particularly, I guess, the Hun bots or the Apollo, and you want to get your CDR up fast, go for the Breastplate of Valor. It's good for mana, it's good for physical protections, and goodbye somebody. Skeleton gonna die to the Ricochet.
Rebounds. That was an extremely nice ricochet by Panther Cat. The double hit is going to eliminate Skildon from the fight. Cats will be deployed, getting rid of the backdoor protections of the tower because he didn't have any minions to back them up, but the pets will. Tower does fall. Crazy Toaster is very low. They are begging to get him, but Xenotronics puts down the zoning Thunderstorm. We're going to see 2 members of Risky Behavior get thrown into the Thunderstorm thanks to the Whirlwind of Rage and Steel. Grishank picks up the kill onto Famous Hate because of the bleed, gets the double kill onto Zed and Shroud. And now he's going for the third. The greed is real, but it may be worthy. Yes, it will. There's a triple kill under tower, as the rest of Neil M do pick up a tower of their own on the left side. That is 3 kills, 2 towers, and this is sounding like a really bad subtitle for a movie.
It's, again, I mean, we're sitting relatively even, and we then hit the point where you've got a bit of a 3-protect 2 comp, but more importantly, or even a 2-protect 3 composition, but more importantly, it's just they're coming online. Neil M does incredibly well with items and levels, and because of that, they're able to do this. Just push hard. They take down another tower as well, so it's now 3 towers total for this push, and Neil M are starting to take off right now.
Yeah. Well, I would say take off. They're stomping the XP and gold graph into the dirt right now. Just look at it, that steep decline. You can see, you know, that Gold Fury is a tiny thing compared to that massive play they just made. It just drops dramatically. 7k XP, 5.3k gold, and they have very good map presence now as well. They have the option of split pushing down left, which is the best side to have any kind of shenanigans with split push, because the Fire Giant is on the other side. Over in the solo, though, Crazy Toaster once again getting gagged by the Jacob Malfoy Grinshank combination. Luckily, they do have the Athena Global to rotate over. Skildon is around B. he is unfortunately going to choose to not try and go for that. He knows that... Well, maybe not necessarily knows, maybe he had a little bit of communication, maybe he wasn't called off the gank attempt. I don't personally know who's the shot caller on that team, but that looked like a, hey, back off, don't try this.
Yeah, a bit of it, and we are going to see some, again, posturing. Neil M does not know specifically when the Gold Fury comes up. They're trying to keep an eye out for it. They do see it respawn now, so they're going to want to keep an eye on that. But again, most importantly, Risky Behavior needs to be careful about this duo lane. It would be very, very easy if Grishank wanted to. Grishank could just simply go, walk over, pop his cats, and kill the Phoenix. Which is a play that I would like to play. That's actually why we see this, there's a Sentry Ward deep down by that from Risky Behavior, because they need to be careful, but there is a fight at the top side starting to break out.
Yeah, the Risky Behavior get a nice block. Christos of finding Panda Cat beads, and the jump is going to allow him to almost get away, but there's the Fiddle Weevil. Paul is going to allow Panda Cat to at least get away for now, but Skildon uses the teleport from the Sacred Monkey to actually follow him. Nice shield by Miramar to try and protect him, and it's actually going to be enough to save him here. Grishank mops up the monkey, and in comes the cats, and nice use of the Woe and Rachel Steel. That's going to find two members of Risky Behavior. Whooped and Xenotronics. Xenotronics is going to get absolutely cleaned out. That's going to be a 2-for-0 trade. Nope, never mind, I'm wrong. Make that 3-for-0.
That's a triple for the kitty cat, and this Bastet is doing much better than I thought she would. I'm going to own that I, was wrong at the beginning of this match. Very, very well played here, and this is really going to be a 2-protect-3 combination here, and as she is doing so much damage, and we will see Neil M taking that Gold Fury here. Going to take a brief look at net worth. She is topping the charts by 800 over her carry, and it's really, it looks like you've got them separated by team. You've got Grishank, Panda Cat, Jaco, Jiminy, and Nairma, and then you've got all of Risky Behavior down below. So very, very rough time so far for Risky Behavior. And it's just very difficult.
Yeah, it's right now Risky Behavior. They were doing okay in the beginning, but now it's the avalanche effect. One or two missteps or misplays, or they get caught by surprise, is allowing Neil M to get more things, and then more things, then those things they grab allow them to do more things. It's that capitalization on extra time earned through objectives. You saw, they got 2 towers, and they thought, okay, let's go grab another one, because they're back, and looks like over in the mid lane, there's going to be a little bit of argy-bargy around the mid-camps, but Grishank is actually going to find... They're going to split the camp 1-to-1 with Skildon forced to hop over the wall. But as I was saying, Neil M is just doing a cracking job of optimizing their pathing and their time usage. To say, they're not wasting too much time to say, hey, we've just done this, what else can we do?
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see what happens here as we do approach the 21-minute mark. Fire Giant is now an option. I wouldn't call him an entree, but he is something, maybe a dessert off of a team fight. Oh hey, we got a really good team fight, we got a team wipe, let's go for Fire Giant, compared to, 5-10 minutes from now, where you look for a fight to try and get the Fire Giant. Right now the fights are still very much that we're fighting, there we go, another tower down, and you're fighting for pressure, but you're not looking to fight to then go for the Fire Giant. While, like I said, in 5-6 minutes, you will be looking for a fight to then get the Fire Giant after it.
Yeah, and this Fire Giant is going to crux Neil M's pushing power at this point, if they can actually get it. Unfortunately, Crazy doesn't find the pull he needs, and that's the risk you take as Sobek, is if you don't get the pluck, or even if you do get the pluck, you're still out of position, and you can take a lot of poke for it, and Sickening Strike can only heal you for so much, as the rest of Neil M are going to go for a pincer maneuver on the tower here. Multiple ultimates now being deployed. Down comes the Zeus ultimate. We do see the cat deploy as well. Nice taunt on the left side. That's fighting at 2 sides of this lane. Jiminy Glick's going to find Skildon with a very nice unstable vortex. Paul is going to allow Grishank to go straight through until the space and time was used. Down it comes. Oh, never mind. That ultimate gets countered out by a very nice use of the one with the Raging Steel. And now Risky Behavior are routed. They're split. Crazy Toast, they'll force a retreat and try and cover the retreat of Xenotronics, who is tagged by the what's the name of his one? I am having a mental breakdown. Furious Roar! There we go. It's a roar. It was furious. The most furious of roars. That also has an effect on Zeus's auto attack. It's not just physical damage, it's any basic attacks. And that will, of course, still stunt Zeus. Of course, less so depending on how you build him. You know, we don't see any kind of ring auto-attack Zeus shenanigans, no Fatalis. But, you know, Zeus does a good chunk of damage off his basic attacks.
Oh, definitely. And so, again, if we had been 5 or 6 minutes later into the game, I would have expected to see a Fire Giant off of that push. But because of where Neil M was, they said, no, that's good, we'll back. We'll get into our 4th or 5th item, depending on which character we are. We see an Ethereal Staff being completed here by Xingqian. I really like this item. Gives him a lot of health. He's currently sitting at 3,000, so it's actually worth more than a Warlock Sash at this point. And we are going to see the Fire Giant started here by Panda Cat. Grishank does have his kitty cat, so they could start with those. Though cats aren't as good against Fire Giant as they used to be due to some of their health problems that they've had due to their nerfs. But Fire Giant falling quickly. Shouldn't be much longer. There we go. We will see Neil M taking the Fire Giant. And now 15-6 at 23 minutes in. And this is looking very, very good for Neil M, or very bad for Risky Behavior.
Yeah, Risky right now, what can they even do here, Target? I'm just looking around, and the only thing that they can hope for is a Deicide, and that's going to be very hard to do, considering how much frontline Neil M has to utilize. What can they even do?
Deicide, they need a good team fight. Instead of these get split and scrap team fights, we've seen Fear No Evils use on 1 to 2 people at most. Most of the time we're seeing Zeus use his ultimate again on 1 to 2 people. Good Cataclysm hitting 4. There's a decent Fear No Evil, but again, not amazing. Draco Malfoy allowed to get out, though he did finally go low. We will see the Sunbreaker being used as a zoning tool as the Phoenix does get taken out there, and that will be the end of Xenotronics, and Grishank going to go unstoppable there, taking out Crazy Toaster Panda Cat, going to get the double there onto Wubbin as well, and they are looking to end this as it is only the Monkey and Apollo remaining, and they are trying to defend their Titan the best they can,
yeah,
but the Titan is falling very low, down below 4K, Famous Hate dies, and Skeleton can't even get out of his base, and that Titan does fall. Panda Cat body blocking pretty much on bots, not letting him get back in. And 19-6, that game was very close for the first 10 to 12 minutes, but then the second half of that game completely just turned around by Neil M.
Yeah, Neil M got that 1 foothold, and then they got the chisel and just started wham, wham, wham.
That's a
on
jackhammer.
The enemy towers.
It was a jackhammer. They didn't even need a chisel.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, but they found that one weakness in the positioning. They get 1 or 2 kills and go, hey, the enemy team is understaffed. Let's go mess their stuff up. And they did very effectively.
And they did do a very good job of that. So well played to them. I do not know what that does for Risky Behavior's standings. They had 9 points from last week, so Risky Behavior still has a shot. Neil M, however, needed to do well in this game, and they do win it, so that's good for them. I'm not quite sure where they're playing in round 3, so we will update you all at the end of round 3 for Neil M here. We will be back with another match. I believe it will be Burly Men versus... Is Risky Behavior correct, Wizkid? Okay,
yes,
so we'll be casting Risky Behavior once again. They need to bounce back here. They're going up against the Burly Men. The Burly Men only were able to get 3 points last week, so the Burly Men...
Ooh.
Oh, excuse me. We're doing Resist versus Vicious and Delicious, so we're going to the other side of the brackets here. Even better. Vicious and Delicious got 0 points week 1, and Resist sitting at, well, 9 plus their earlier win today. So this is a must-win for Vicious and Delicious. Can they bring it out is the question. We will be right back with that match. Once again, Team Resist versus Vicious and Delicious on the Fall 2015 Challenger Cup North American Edition, brought to you by hi-rez Studios and TierMonster.com. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.